Trapeze is a club that's operated in Broward County for over 20 years. It's basically become a South Florida institution at this point. It's very well known in the community. For the past 14 years of its operation, it's been in the city of Tamarac since 2008. It's located on State Road 7 near the intersection with Commercial Boulevard. That's its current location. It has been there since 2008. It's one of the leading clubs of its kind in the nation. People visit and travel from all over the place, all over the country, all over the world even, to visit this club. The reason we're here is that Trapeze has considered or is attempting to relocate the club to another location within the city of Tamarac. It's a similar location. It's in a strip shopping center just like their current location. It's on a major arterial roadway. This time, the new location is on University Drive. The old one is on State Road 7. It's in the same zoning district, the MUC zoning district. So when Trapeze formulated the plan to move, we approached the city and informed them of this plan. And we're told, well, there's been some changes to the zoning code in 2018. So what you should do is send in a zoning verification request. And that's a procedure whereby we can explain what we're intending to do, and the city can give input back to us in their decision about whether that can be done or not, or how it can or can't be done. We did that, got a response from the city. The city's response was, to summarize essentially, it was that the use category that Trapeze is in, which is dance hall social club, was eliminated in the 2018 revision of the code. It does not exist anymore. And Trapeze still maintains that use designation basically because they're grandfathered. They're a existing non-conforming permitted use under the code. So that's still their designation at the old location. If they wanted to go to the new location, what I had proposed in the zoning verification request was that they be treated as a club or lodge, private. That's what I felt was the most similar to their previous designation. I felt that the definition of that use is what applied to them. The city, in their response, rejected that and stated that they concluded that the proper use category would be adult entertainment. And adult entertainment is only permitted in the MUC zoning district as a special exception use, which means it requires going through a whole process of getting approved by, I believe, by this board, but ultimately by the city commission. We disagree with the city's determination on the zoning verification request, and that's why we're here today. We're here to ask you to revisit that, and I will explain a number of reasons why I think their interpretation was wrong. But first, I think what's really important to do in this case is to familiarize the board with what Trapeze actually is and how they operate, so you have a better understanding, because what we're trying to do is figure out which zoning category or which business use category they fit into. So before you can really effectively do that, you got to understand what it is that they do. And it is a somewhat unique club. So it's not as simple as talking about something like a shoe store or something that's everyone understands what it is. So I'd like to briefly just go through with you what it is that Trapeze actually is. Trapeze is a members-only club. It's organized as a not-for-profit corporation. Being a members-only club, no one can come in unless they go through the member application process and pay a membership fee. The way it works for a first-time visitor is they go to the club, they fill out an application, they answer a number of questions that are intended to familiarize them with the type of club that it is and whether they would be a good fit as a member for the club. They pay a membership fee, and they're granted, if they sufficiently pass that process, they are granted a temporary membership to the club. They can come in, and the evaluation period continues during that temporary membership. Their conduct, how they present themselves in the club, how they behave, is evaluated, and it's determined whether they're a good fit for the club or not. If they are, they can then obtain a permanent membership status. If they are granted permanent membership, there is a regular membership fee that's paid. It can be either paid on a monthly or bi-monthly or annual basis, depending on that member's preference. And then on top of that, each time the member comes to the club, they pay a nightly user fee. So there's essentially two fees that are paid. There's the membership that is recurring, and then each time the particular member decides to use the club, they pay a nightly user fee. Now, memberships in a club like Trapeze are not for everyone. In fact, the club is designed to serve a membership that's a very small and specific segment of the community. And that segment of the community is that which has an interest in alternative sexual lifestyles, including but not limited to polyamorous lifestyles. And I probably don't have to tell you, that's not everybody. That's not even most people. That's a very narrow segment of our community. But what the membership process of Trapeze is designed to do is to identify whether a person has a bona fide interest in that type of lifestyle and whether they would be a good fit in the club. Trapeze has a board of members that conducts regular meetings, that evaluates memberships, that reviews the administration of the club. Trapeze is often referred to as a swingers club, or a lifestyle club is another phrase that's frequently used. Trapeze doesn't shy away from that designation, but what they do distance themselves from is a lot of the negative stereotypes that go along with that designation, and a lot of the common public misconceptions about what their club does and what their club is like. So if you look at the first slide that I have, this shows the exterior of Trapeze. Now, the first thing that you'll notice is how plain and nondescript it is. There's only a single sign. The sign says nothing other than the name of the club, Trapeze. There's no other descriptive text. There's no advertising. There's no neon lights. There's no windows in the club. There's no pictures or artwork on the club. It would be possible to drive by this club every day and have no idea what it is. It's done that way on purpose. The operators of the club go to efforts to give it a very discreet public appearance, and that's for two reasons. One is for the privacy of the membership, and the other is out of respect to the neighboring property owners and neighbors of the club, to present it in a way so that it just blends in and doesn't cause an eyesore or an unfavorable public appearance. Trapeze, as I said, has operated in Tamarack for 14 years. During that time, they've never caused any type of issues as far as excessive police calls, parking issues, noise issues, code issues. They've essentially had very little impact on the surrounding area that they're in. All right, so this next slide shows the entrance to Trapeze. When you enter Trapeze, you enter into a separate room that's separate and apart from the rest of the club. And this is where the membership application process takes place. As you'll see, there's a counter there with some employees of the club. And the way the membership application is done now is it's done electronically. A member fills in an electronic application, provides their name, their contact information, and then there's a section where they have to go through a series of rules that the club has and regulations. Now, and they also present photo ID. You can see there's a giant sign on the wall that says no exceptions, photo ID required. The rules and regulations are designed to do a couple of things, and the members have to agree to all of them before they can be granted entrance or membership in the club. First, the rules and regulations explain the nature of the club. It explains that this is a club for people with an interest in alternative sexual lifestyles, that you may encounter people that have that type of interest, that you may encounter sexual activity if you are in certain parts of the club, that you're not offended by that nudity doesn't offend you, so on and so forth. These are designed to make sure that a member, first of all, knows what they're walking into, and second of all, is amenable to membership in that type of an organization. Secondly, there's rules of conduct that are listed. Those rules prohibit things like the use or possession of drugs in the club, any acts of prostitution in the club, and it's made very clear to members that if they violate those types of rules, that's grounds to revoke their membership permanently and have them removed from the club. So once a person completes the membership process in this room, they can then go to the adjoining section of the club, which I'll refer to as the lounge area of the club. Now here's a collage of photos that shows that part of the club. As you can see from the photos, the lounge area presents an upscale atmosphere, has tasteful furnishings and decor, it's clean and well maintained. There are places provided for the membership to sit down and mingle and interact and talk with one another. There's a dance floor that you can see in the bottom right portion of the collage. The club does have a DJ that provides music. However, there is no live entertainment provided by the club. There are no dancers, there are no performers. It is simply a presentation of music for the membership to enjoy and dance to. The club has a strictly enforced dress code. The way they describe it on most of their materials is dress to impress. They prohibit sneakers, shorts, caps, t-shirts, sports attire, that type of thing. They do occasionally have theme nights where certain types of costumes are permitted, but otherwise people are required to dress appropriately when they come to the club. And as you can see in the photos, that's how the clientele of the club does dress. This next slide shows some of the amenities offered by the club. Now, there's no alcohol sold by Trapeze. It is not sold or offered by the club in any way. However, the members of the club are permitted to bring their own bottle of alcohol. And when they bring the bottle, it's marked with an identifying number that connects it to that particular member. And only that member can utilize that bottle of alcohol. They cannot share it with other members or sell it or give it away. It is for that one member to use on their own. The club does provide non-alcoholic drinks that can be used as mixers. The club also has a buffet that's very popular with the members. It's a high-quality buffet, offers 2 meals per night, typically a dinner-type meal earlier in the evening, and then late at night they have a breakfast buffet. And again, this is one of the very popular parts of the club that a lot of the members really enjoy, and Trapeze prides itself on the quality of its food presentation. Now, the non-alcoholic mixers and the buffet are included in the user fee, that the nightly user fee that the members pay when they visit the club. Now, adjoining to the lounge area of the club there's what I will refer to as the swing area of the club. Now, there's no requirement that anyone go to that part of the club. It's strictly voluntary. Many members do not visit that part of the club. Very often, members will stay in the lounge area and simply enjoy the ambiance and aura of the club. Or there are some people in that lifestyle that prefer to use the lounge area to meet people who they would then meet with privately outside of the club rather than in the swing area of the club. It's totally up to the particular member. The swing area is a completely separate part of the club. You can't see it from the lounge area. There's no ability to observe what's happening there. It's separated by a wall. It's obviously not visible from the exterior of the building, but it's not even visible from inside the lounge area. There's a locker room that's situated between the lounge area and the swing area of the club. That's a place where members can obtain a locker to store clothing or belongings. They can obtain a towel to cover themselves with. Within the swing area of the club, there's several rooms of different sizes. It is permissible for members to engage in consensual sexual activity within those rooms. That's completely up to the members. No employees or representatives of Trapeze are permitted to engage in any conduct like that with any member. It's made very clear to all employees, should anything like that occur, they will be immediately terminated from their employment. So the sexual contact that occurs in that area is by and between members only. It's completely non-commercial. There's not money changing hands for that. It's consensual. That's another important aspect of the philosophy of Trapeze, that everyone agrees to what's going on. And it's voluntary. It's not required. It's not mandatory. The club maintains staff to keep that area very clean and well maintained, just like the rest of the club.